G'day guys, welcome to the channel. I would like to start off by saying this video has got lots of different techniques that you can use to create a layout without having lots of papers. This is a very mixed media heavy layout because I'm doing a review on the new Distress Spritz range, and this is me building up my own paper. So this piece of paper that I'm working on, this is a piece of cardstock. It's a Poppy Crafts paper cardstock. It is 240 GSM. It's reasonably thick. It is not watercolor cardstock. It stands up pretty well to some wet media without having gesso and stuff on there. So I thought I'd give this a crack and see if I could create a layout that's quite busy. But this particular piece that I'm working on right here, right now, I end up cutting this up. So this is not meant to be the perfect background because this is me just creating using the Distress Oxide range, which works and complements the Spritz range perfectly because it's all the Distress range. You could use Distress Oxide here, or you could use Distress ink to get a very, very similar result. I used my oxides because they're creamier and they give me a more solid, not translucent effect. So I swiped the actual ink pad onto the background, as you can see. The colours that I've used have been Mowed Lawn, Seedless Preserves, Weathered Wood, and Wild Honey. Swipe them down straight down. Then I came back in over the top with the same colour but with a more heavy hand, and I added a little bit extra. Then I've come in with a different stencil and I've just put a bit of black acrylic paint through the stencil. Then I've put a little bit of white acrylic paint through the stencil. Now you have to remember the Distress Oxide range, that they're water reactive, so every time I use an acrylic paint that is, you know, it's got moisture in it, it's water soluble, so it is going to activate the inks below it. So, but then once that dries with the acrylic paint on top, it won't reactivate where the acrylic paint is. So I'm just building up layer after layer. Now here I'm using the Distress Spritz sprays. I'm using what did I use? Wilted Violet. I used, let me see, I used Fossilized Amber, Spiced Marmalade, Wilted Violet, Weathered Wood, Twisted Citron, and a little bit of Uncharted Marina. So I used quite a few different ones. Now, the Spritz range, they are translucent. They are not water reactive. So once they dry, that's it. They don't move anywhere. They're not water reactive. You can't wet them and continue. You know, sometimes like with the my inks, sometimes I go, oh, hang on, I really want to wet that and sort of dye it down a little bit. That is not what the Spritz range does. So the mica powder in the Spritz range, all the colors match to the Distress range. So for instance, the Fossilized Amber is the same color family. It will look slightly different on paper because it is like chemically. So you got to think chemistry. It's a different kind of product. It's a mica. It's a mica powder product in a water spray spritz. That's what it is basically. Now, what I found was when I sprayed it on, once you spray it down and you leave it to dry properly, so I did all of this work here that I'm working on, then I left it to completely dry, totally dry right down. I did use my heat tool. I did dry it off so it was touchable, but once it dried completely, totally 100% completely, it doesn't wipe off on your hands. Now, you have to give it there. I did get a slight, very, very slight amount of shimmer on my fingers, but what I realized was you really just need to let it completely dry. When you do that, it is not water reactive. It is permanent. It will stay exactly where you sprayed it. End of conversation, right? What I did notice, a huge bonus, if you love Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine, right? If you were one of those people that love that product and you can't get it anymore, I'm telling you, the fossilized amber in the Distress Spritz range, if you shake that up perfectly and you flick it onto your page, it gives you the most beautiful mica gold splatter. It's beautiful. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's better than the Heidi Swap Color Shine. I actually never had the Heidi Swap one. I make my own. Now, I have had people ask me, dollar for dollar, the gold mica homemade spray that I make with any of the colours that I make from my mica powders in my recipe using some either Mod Podge or just some PVA glue and a little bit of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and the mica, it goes down exactly the same way. It sprays out exactly the same way. Totally the same product. Like, it's not the same product, but it works very similarly. What's the bonus to the Distress range over what I make homemade myself? The homemade spray that I make is pennies. Like, it costs you next to nothing to make, right? These spritzers, I paid about, I think it was $5.90 or something like that, $5.80. It was about $6 a spray. Do I think that's expensive? No, I think the Distress Oxide sprays, which are a bigger bottle of spray, they're a little bit more. And down here in Australia, you've got to understand that we pay through the nose for some of our products because it's just getting them to us logistically is more expensive. So my homemade one, I can make for absolute pennies. I can make any colour using any of my mica powders. I can do that. These Spritz ones are specifically so they are compatible and colour match to the Distress Oxide inks, Distress Oxide sprays, all the Distress line. Okay, Distress ink, they match perfectly. Okay, so it's totally your call whether you choose to, if you think you need them in your crafty stash. I have them. I'm glad I've got them. They're pretty. Do I think that they were essential? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, because I feel like what I can make myself using my mica powders, it's on par. It really is. It gives me the same metallic payoff. It sticks to my layout perfectly. So, but it is a beautiful product. It is beautiful. It is stunning. Tim Holtz has done an amazing job yet again. He has rewritten he's torn up the rule book and he's created another beautiful product. It is great. So if you're someone that doesn't like creating and playing chemist and making up your own stuff, beautiful product. Especially the fossilized amber if you love gold. If I had to pick my favorite ones out of the ones that I have, Uncharted Marina and fossilized amber would be my pick of the bunch of what I got. Now, back to my layout. I decided to cut this so you can see now where I was going with my paper. I was just getting all different color patterns and textures on that piece of paper. I ran them through my die cut machine using my stitched border hexagon punches, and I'm just creating a pattern in the background. I've used my Distress Oxide inks in the background just to create a little bit of more color. I've stitched some straight lines with my sewing machine in the background. Again, it's more texture. It's tactile. It feels really good. Lots and lots of texture on here without using texture paste. and without using lots of foam to build it right up, but it's got lots and lots of texture on it. I did go over, so when I stamped on my page, I used my VERSAFINE ONYX black ink, and when I put it down, I went, oh, it's too dark. Easy fix. Grab your white embossing powder, sprinkle it over the top of the black ink, use your heat tool, boom bada bing, your black stamp is now white. It's white, it's glossy. The Hero Arts white embossing powder, mwah, it is chef's kiss. It is so beautiful. It is crystal clear, bright white. I love it. Like I've said before, not all embossing powders are created equally. So I decided to then go around the border. It needed a border. I was going to trim it and just do my usual border, and I went, no, let's just create one using inks and paints. Why not? That's what this whole layout is. Now I'm using my Distress ink, black soot, and I went around the edge. It was a bit thicker than I wanted, so I needed to figure out a way of kind of diffusing the black a little bit. So I thought, no, I'll put my title down first. And these are the new thickers that I picked up out of the clearance section from Kitaholic Kits. So it's not a paid promotion, just telling you where I got them. Thickers, and they're called Hello Joy. And they made a really pretty title. I sat there and I ummed and ahed whether I should run over the word and give like a drop shadow with black on my title just to help it pop. But I was happy with it. I just left it. Now I'm using my Darkroom Door hexagon stamp just to go around the outside border, just to sort of peel back a little bit on how thick that black border was. And it just adds a bit more hexagon, what would you call it? Hexagon interest, visual interest. It's just repeating that pattern, and I really like how it turned out. Now I'm just adding a bit of bling, which I haven't done in a while because I was going through a phase there where I was putting lots of bling on every single layout, and I thought you guys might get tired of me doing that. So, but it called for it on this layout because I wanted a bit more bling, a bit more shimmer and shine. After all, I am using the Distress Spritz range, and it turned out lovely. Absolutely love it. I love the product. Super easy to use. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to buy me half a dozen colours. What did I buy? 2, 4, 6, 8 colours I bought. So, you know, it works. Now, I'm just going through and putting some clear bling on there. I got those ones from AliExpress. If you're wondering where they came from, I'll have a full list of everything in the description that I used. And here is the finished product. If you like what you see and getting value from my videos, please like, subscribe, share my content with other people, tag your friends in my videos if you'd like them to see what I'm all about and what I do. I like to bring you different ideas that we can all easily create with a step-by-step situation. This is just a few inks and a hexagon die. If you don't have the die set machine, just cut them by hand, or draw a hexagon and then use it as a template, whatever you see fit. Don't forget, I've got the links to my Instagram and Facebook in the description below, not to mention my link to my Buy Me a Coffee. If you would like to help contribute financially to my channel, if you would like to do that, that allows me to just buy these extra products so I can do a review for you. And all that beautiful texture. See how the white embossing powder over where it was black, it's just brightened it up, and it's given me another element on the page of that gloss white. And can you see the beautiful shimmer from the spritzes? They're beautiful, and they sit on top, and they don't react with water. I love them. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I will chat to you again real soon. Bye for now.